Hello, everybody. This is an episode of Extranormal Podcast. My name is Chris. Alongside me is my wife.
Howdy. Hi. Hey.
Can we bring back the whole my wife thing because of the fucking Borat thing is back?
Yes.
Nobody should bring that back.
Sure.
Even like the ironic like comedian, like I'm doing this because I'm being ironic, is dead. It's dead. It's dead.
Dead to you.
Yeah, that's what you say about me all the time. So what's going on? How you been?
So busy. So busy. You've been busy with me.
Too busy to talk into the mic?
Oh, fuck off. He's
Alrighty.
already starting.
Alrighty.
Whoa. See,
She's already starting.
I'm out of sorts.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm trying to launch, we launched a hair extension line.
Yeah.
That I've been dreaming about doing for like a year and a half, and it feels really good, and I don't have any regrets, just the fact that I need more sleep.
Anyways, so you have a new line.
So that's one thing that's going on, and then today distance learning situation happened with my daughter went back to school at home.
Yeah, so we're back to the whole fucking teacher role again, all over again.
I literally just trying to run my
literally
salon
can't.
And trying to run this new business and trying to teach a child that's stubborn.
Uh-huh.
It has been so exhausting. So I had a meltdown mommy moment. So
yeah, don't we all? I've had a few meltdown mommy moments, but
yeah. I mean, luckily you are working from home, so you do help me out so much, but it's been a day, everybody. And I'm not even drinking. The only thing I'm drinking is turmeric and ginger.
Yeah, you made some fucking witch's brew we need to talk about. That it's like ginger, turmeric. I think there's a frog's leg in there. Lemon
and pepper, because your body doesn't absorb the turmeric unless you have pepper.
Do you put the blood of a firstborn child in after all that stuff, or is it kind of the initial base? Is it kind of like a roux?
You're so stupid.
Fucking roux.
Hey, I cannot afford to get sick right now.
Yeah.
Even though our world is,
and plus too, like,
we're in a crisis.
Yeah, nowadays it's like if you get sick, it's just like it's COVID. Like there's no more colds anymore. Even
everything's COVID now.
Everything's COVID. Like so even if you don't have COVID, like you get sick, you're like, oh, I gotta
must be COVID.
It must be COVID, and so you just freak out, and then.
So yeah. And that's why sometimes I wonder if like all these deaths are actually COVID.
It's coming out. It's coming out.
Conspiracies.
No.
No, but yeah.
Well, there's a lot of like complicating factors. Like there is a lot of like people. The people like this is not a hot take or a surprise or a conspiracy theory either. But a lot of people a fair amount of the people who die from COVID like have underlying factors, But
yes.
A lot of people do. I do. So, Oh.
Good way to get dark.
Keep your COVID shit away. Keep drinking your witch's brew because I can't do that.
And I like really pungent drinks. So if you guys don't mind it, it's pretty simple. You just boil the turmeric.
So a bunch of shit that's mildly inedible.
And lemon.
I love ginger though.
With water. I know. And I just drink it like that.
She's my favorite on Gilligan's
with a sprinkle of lemon.
Mm-hmm. A zest? Mm-hmm. A little zesty festy?
Actually, I just throw the lemon in there after I slice it. Anyways, but
Do you throw the lime in the coconut? Oh.
So, I mean, that's really, it's been a lot. I know you all are going through all your own stuff. We're all trying to handle all of our
I'm out here trying to survive
situations in different ways. And that's all we really can do. But talking about what we're going to talk about tonight it gives me life. It brings me back to life. It brings me joy talking about anything that has remotely to do with aliens. It's not made up.
I'm sorry, Travis. This
is a legit story.
It's a legit story. It's probably the one. Okay, we're jumping the gun already. Already jumping the gun.
Let's go.
Tonight we're going to be talking about the infamous Travis Walton. We're going to be talking about Travis Walton, who is the subject
lumberjack
of a lot of episodes of the alien conspiracy theories. He's had a film made about him. He obviously wrote his book, The Walton Experience, I believe it is. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Travis Walton, who is the inspiration for the movie Fire in the Sky, which wasn't that great, but the ending was cool. But anyways.
The funny thing that I had never heard of this movie. Like,
I'm a
90s baby kid, whatever. And I guess it was big in the 90s, and I missed it.
That's such a beautiful phrase. I guess it was big in the 90s. You could say that about MC Hammer.
Well, Marin was one who told me about it, so shout out to Marin. Love you. But we watched it, and I actually really enjoyed the movie. I thought, what do you think? It was like a cliffhanger at the end because I wanted more. I wanted
importantly,
really in depth. Like I wanted.
More importantly,
no, I want us to find Travis, and I would love to interview him because I have so many questions. I'm
still going to ask my questions. I'm just going to rail this through.
Abducted, and I know it was a really traumatic, scary experience, but I feel like he's at an age now where he can talk about it. Hopefully.
Well, speaking of the 90s. 10 minutes ago, what do you think? What's
in my head, a girl?
What's your biggest regret from the 90s? Like in terms of influence?
Smash Mouth.
But you're big. No, I want guilty pleasures. I want to know the thing that you were super fucking into in the 90s. You're like, ooh, that was a little.
I was thinking ex-boyfriends, but I was too young to have. That was a 2000 boyfriend.
That was 2000 eras. Fred Durst, my biggest 2000 regret, and my ex-boyfriend. We had a stint.
You did it all for the nookie?
Yeah, so I wanted
a
cookie.
A big Limp Bizkit fan. I was like, and I thought it was so fucking cool too.
And you still think you're cool. Anyways, so what's your biggest? What were you super fucking into in the 90s that you're like, that sucks? Because a lot of things in the 90s sucked. There's a lot of shitty stuff in the 90s. Like MTV, everybody's so obsessed with like the history of MTV and like how MTV sucked. It sucked. They showed the same videos and they started showing Real World, which was fine, but it was trash.
I don't know if you guys watching can call us.
I hit you with a surprise. Sorry, I didn't prep you for that.
What's our number?
Are we having call-ins?
Yeah.
We always do that too late, and nobody.
No, who cares?
Oh, I'm gonna self-esteem issues all over again.
Can call in and answer this question. Because I'm trying to think.
You got it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think. Biggest regret in the 90s.
I don't know.
Never had met you.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest regret.
Yeah, we didn't meet in the 90s. I met Tiger Woods in the 90s.
Maybe more. I wish I would have snuck out more. I wish I would have partied more. I was, a lot of people that know me, I was raised very Catholic. Mm-hmm. Roman, Italian, Catholic, and so my family was very
in the
if you
days
wear that,
of Rome,
you're gonna get raped. If you dress like that, you're gonna get raped. And so I was literally traumatized. I thought every time I go outside.
And then if the shitty part is, if it would have happened, they would have told you you almost deserved it.
Yeah,
it's fucked up.
You asked for it.
Yeah, the 90s sucked. 626-733-8256. If you're a fan of the 90s, that's fine. There's some good stuff.
90s are back in a big.
Are they really back?
Good way. Fashion for sure.
Fashion, yeah.
Yeah,
90s
which I never thought it would. I remember all the people out there that remember the 90s. I always remember thinking of the earlier era since I'm a big fan of the 80s and of the 60s and the 50s and 40s and 20s. So I always thought our era was mark. But now it's the 90s, it's in. And
it's very in.
I'm embracing it.
So, anyways, getting back to Travis.
Look at my two-tone jacket.
Sorry, I derailed that. Travis Walton was not a child of the 90s. Not at all. He was
70s?
Well, he was 22. So that's
60s.
I don't know. Who the fuck cares? No, he's 50s. He was born in the 50s. He was
20. But you said child.
Child of the 50s or 60s. Whatever. 50s and 60s and both. And 1 and 2.
Fun for both.
So Travis Walton was he's infamous not for when he was born, but for when on the date of November 5th, 1975, which we just passed the anniversary of this thing that apparently happened.
It was all meant to be.
I don't know. Was it meant to be? Was this fate? Was the universe just aligning us to have this one episode about Travis Walton?
Anyways, Travis Walton, he wrote the book, The Walton Experience. And
okay, Walton, we got a workshop.
I mean,
title.
That's what it was.
It was an experience.
It was an experience, and he probably didn't want to say aliens or anything too cheesy because people would have been like, "Oh, it's science fiction," you know.
It just sounds like a shitty like place you'd go to, probably in the '90s or the 2000s. That was like a shitty laser tag place or like VR, like the Walton Experience. Like, come on, Walton, come on, Travis.
You know, and so the massive technology. The movie Fire in the Sky was inspired by him, and so there are obviously probably way more dramatic things, but there are some really interesting facts. I mean, I'm sure you want to go into a little bit more history, so I'll let you. But there are some interesting facts about the abduction story that kind of mind blown me and made me believe. Do you want to talk about it?
Well, let's talk about let's set it. Let's paint a picture. Let's build the frame before we get into the details. So what we're going to be talking about is one of the most famous UFO abduction stories out there. I mean, he's up there for sure in terms of abductions. I mean, Roswell's probably a more famous UFO like crash site, and there's more famous alien centric stuff, but in terms of alien abductions, he's up there in terms of popularity, in terms of his story being out there.
Probably a lot of it is because his story was so vivid.
He was definitely, whether you believe him or not, he definitely was able to paint a picture for sure. Like he got some of the details. He got details on point.
And
like
his witnesses passed all the lie detector tests.
So yes.
I'm saying that says a lot.
It does. So November 5th, 1975 is when Travis Walton, a young man at the age of 22, was actually a lumberjack in Arizona, which is, you don't think about lumberjacks in Arizona. You think it's just all rocks. But there's actually, apparently there's trees in Arizona. There's trees in Arizona. But he was a lumberjack, 22 years old, and he was... The area that him and 6 other coworkers, they were working at, I guess the group they were working for was a timber stand improvement group, which is, I don't know, some fun corporate term or something that probably the logging company thought of. But they were riding home from a gig. It was at the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, which is near Snowflake, Arizona. Again,
that's right.
Okay, his story is not checking out. One, because he's in the middle of Arizona, and he's cutting down trees, which are not in Arizona. I look it up, except for cactus. And he's in a town in Arizona called Snowflake. I don't think so.
No.
There's no snow in Arizona.
They wouldn't have made a movie after this guy, and you wouldn't write a book if...
Okay, there's no Snowflake, Arizona. Let's look it up.
There is.
There probably is. There definitely is. Not probably is. There's definitely a Snowflake.
That the natives,
I find it weird that they named it Snowflake, though.
The natives that live there would speak about seeing the UFOs and things like that too, which I think that says a lot. They would talk about weird things happening.
Yeah, they would say a lot of things, but they were doing their thing, and I guess it was forest management was their whole gig, is to try to prevent you too can prevent forest fires, kids. So they were coming home from this gig, and there was him and 6 other guys, right? I think it was a total 7. Mm-hmm. And they were driving home, and it was later, so that the sun was set, or was just setting. And all of them, according to these, as you kind of mentioned, everybody in this group took lie detector tests, and there's, they all, I think 5 out of 6.
Hey, Mr. Rambler, you're going too fast. So all these, you said there were 7 men? 6 or 7 men. They were all working. They had a job. And so they were out there hacking on. Hey.
That's what I said.
They were hacking up.
I said they were hacking.
Wood.
No, I didn't say they were hacking.
And when it was like closing time, when it was time for them to head back, when it started getting dark.
Yeah.
That's when they were driving in their pickup.
That's what I said.
Their pickup truck. No, you started going in the lie detector test stuff.
No.
We weren't ready for that.
Why are we already fighting? I said
we weren't ready for that
okay,
yet.
Roll back the tape. Because I said I says
we have witnesses
that they got off. They got off work, and they were heading home, and it was getting dark. And can I go now?
I want the drama. I want you to bring the people that are listening, people that are watching. I want you to paint this fucking picture.
Travis wanted to listen to the Cranberries, but Bill wanted to listen to Gin Blossoms, and there was a real tussle going on.
You got the no.
Are they? Is that?
I would say it was probably like.
No, there was like
Jimi Hendrix. It was probably like a.
Sorry, I got trapped in the 90s. No, they were probably. He's probably listening to
Jimi Hendrix was already passed.
Zeppelin.
But they were probably listening. Yeah. Janis Joplin. Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing.
The Doors. So they're probably just like break on through.
So they were breaking on through down the freeway, and then all of them. The story goes that all of them, every single one of them, saw a flying saucer. I think it was a bronze gold color. With no, they didn't see any doors. They didn't see any kind of like aircraft with any kind of like edging or anything. It was just
the way that they depict it. Sorry, because you're gonna get it wrong. It wasn't like when you say UFO. Yes, it was an unidentified flying object.
I quit.
But the way that it's depicted in the movie was that it was almost like an organism. Like
movie.
It was like this giant like organism.
But they described it as like this this solid state of I mean, for lack of a better phrase, metal. Who knows if it's
metal? I don't think did they describe it as metal?
Yeah, it was like it's flying saucer disc type of thing.
Maybe
they took artistic license in the movie, I think.
I don't know, but
they said essentially it was just one solid matter. Except I think they said they saw windows. It was like solid form and then some windows for all the aliens to look out of. So they all saw this and they're like, "What the fuck is going on?" And they were very curious about it, so they actually decided to follow it in their car. And I think they all got close enough where they were like, "Oh, look at that shit!" Like,
yeah.
And
it was like flashing lights, and so they were just all mesmerized.
So fucking Travis decides that, yeah,
good Travis.
Thank you, Travis, for the Walton experience we all got. So Travis decides to get out of the truck to see a closer look, and I'm of two minds of this because I admire him because he's curious, but at the same time, like, you see an alien, don't get out of the fucking. It's gonna lead to trouble. Like, it's just gonna lead. I know you're gonna be curious, but you're gonna get some alien disease. You're gonna get kidnapped.
Again, like going back to the way that the movie depicts it, like, I'm not sure because I haven't fully read the book yet, but the way that the movie depicts it is that it's like they're all just staring out there, and then they decide to drive out, and it's almost like Travis was like
he was a curious mother. If you believe it, he was a curious motherfucker.
But for me, I took it as like he was compelled, like whatever the craft it like took him out of the car.
He never mentioned that he was like
maybe telepathically it was guiding him out. Because next thing you know, they all looked. They're like, "What the hell? Like, where's Travis?"
Well, he never mentioned that it had any kind of like gravitational force, emotional or anything. I think he was just fucking curious. He's like, what the fuck is this? So he went out closer to this thing. And according to there's two different accounts, right? There's Travis, and then there is his buddies. So Travis went closer, and let's get into his buddies. His buddies, what they have, at least they were on record back then, they've gone real quiet. Travis is still talking to this day, but they've gotten quieter because I don't think they want the fame. Regardless of how much they were telling the truth, but so their account is that Travis was going out there and he seemed to be fixated with it and he wanted to find out and then a big blue beam of light hit down on him and actually pushed him. They say that it pushed him back.
Lift him and throw him.
What? Yeah, they say that it essentially pushed him back 10 to 20 feet, and at that point. They booked it. They got out of Dodge essentially, and so they took off in the car, according to their account. So that's it. That's essentially their version of what happened. Is after that they're like, we don't know.
Well, because they don't know.
They don't know. Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't. They just said we don't know what happened after that, according to them. So that's where that left him. But in terms of Travis's experience is he said that he walked towards this thing and he felt a numbing feeling and a sense of shock. He says that he doesn't recall being forcibly shot in the air, essentially. That the last thing he remembers is just a numbing sensation and he was out.
But I feel like it's probably like a defense mechanism that your brain goes through when you're in some kind of trauma. Like, I believe everything that he's said in his abduction stories, because remember they came out, like in the movie, they depicted like, it wasn't like he came down and was like, oh, I remember what happened to me. He was just very scared.
No, he never stated. He never contended that he remembered what happened until.
But the memories started coming back. I mean, he could probably have memories pop up now.
Well,
of his defense mechanism.
He doesn't. So up until this day, he doesn't. He says he doesn't remember the point from when he got. According to his buddies, he got shot into the air and
how long he
rendered
was
unconscious. Until I guess apparently his story is that the first thing he remembered after that fact, that's come back to him is him waking up in a hospital-like room. Mm-hmm. So the last thing he remembers, according to his story, is that he remembers coming up to this saucer, boom, numbing, and he just fell unconscious. The first time according to his accounts, he remembers coming back essentially is he woke up in a hospital-like bed. I know that for a lot of people, like, who knows what room this was if it did happen, but for him it looked like a hospital. That's how he registered it. So he woke up then, and he woke up to these aliens that he said they were small, with bodysuits that didn't have any seams. I think he said pink shoes, like pinkish shoes, which is a weird detail. But hey, if you're going to make up a story, you might as well make up the details. No hair, zero hair. They were completely, no eyebrows, no scalp.
What a life. How could they not have hair?
The one
if you
thing,
don't have hair, you could buy it.
One of the, and this is very telling at the time, one of the stories I read up on, they asked him, well, did they have any hair? He said no. Did they have any hair anywhere? And he said no. And they're like, not even a mustache? I was like, oh, that's the 70s. Like, that's the 70s right there. Yeah, so he woke up like that. And he apparently...
I thought I read somewhere that they kind of said that they had like the skin tone of our skin.
They were super white, apparently, is like what the...
But wrinkly. Like, they look like wrinkly old men.
I didn't see that. I know that.
Did he say gender free?
He basically, I think he said they essentially insinuated that they were kind of androgynous, and he said they were like, they had nice form. He like got all weird and kind of
pervy,
kind of fishy. Yeah, he was like they were like essentially they were like perfect.
Well, I mean, like a lot of us do believe, maybe not you, that, I mean, look at ourselves in general. Like, you know, we're trying to perfect ourselves. We have plastic surgery. You don't have an ass, you can buy it. You don't have you don't have boobs, you can buy it. I did that. You know, oh, you're aging, get Botox. Oh, your lips aren't full, get fillers. Like, we are constantly trying to perfect ourselves visually, which I'm obviously not against. But if you think about it, if these are time travelers from our generation,
talking about our generation,
that time travel to the future,
you might have listened to that song in the truck.
And especially like if they were traveling in outer space, they say that your ligaments, your muscle mass starts to disintegrate. So it probably could be some humanoid that disintegrated, that to us visually now they look like aliens. And they wear their spacesuits, but they're creating these perfect hybrid beings, like he said that he saw. So I personally, like, when you break it down like that, like, to me, I'm like, yeah, possibility. I believe it.
That there was these, of course, it's a possibility that if there
could be humanoids that were in outer space, somehow time traveled, got through some kind of wormhole. And it's basically us in the future if we were in outer space.
I think that one of the things is, maybe the outer space thing, but I think that it would be tough for. I think that the whole time I like the concept of a time traveling human who's kind of passing off as an alien essentially, or who's confused.
That? Oh, you like that?
I do like it, but the problem, one of the problems with that theory is that one. I think that artificial intelligence, if we get to the point where we're time traveling, I think artificial intelligence is probably going to take over. So I don't know. I think maybe the Terminator coming from the future and coming back, maybe.
Speaking of which,
speaking of Terminators.
Speaking of, side note, we got our daughter a robot.
We're part of the problem.
We bought her a robot for Christmas this year.
And you know what she's gonna
and you guys are gonna, it's kind of creepy. Whatever. I think it's I think it's amazing, and I think we're already, the children are our future, and I feel like when I was a child, I always in the 80s. That's when like you robots said that
sincerely. That's the worst.
Shut up. That's when robots like first came out. Like what was that?
Johnny Five.
Yeah, Johnny Five. Like all that stuff was so new. And I always wanted a robot, or even watching Small Wonder. I always wished I was like...
She was like steam powered or some weird shit, right? Or they had to crank her.
For all you young people listening and watching, Small Wonder was the shit. We should watch it.
Speaking of 90s sucking.
But yeah, so I am really excited for her to have this robot. And it was made by scientists, obviously, and psychologists. So they kind of like explore the algorithms of your children. So if they're depressed, they kind of adapt and make your child feel good.
Dr. Feel Good.
I mean, in these unprecedented times, you know, she's going to be lonely. She's not going to have the interaction with other kids, and I don't want her behind a computer screen. So this robot is designed to play with her, to help her learn, teach her math, ask her questions, like build conversations. So she'll be able to use that. You know, it could teach her how to code. So for me, in this case, you know, and then we're all in, like, everything is on our phones, so we could see everything that's going on.
Are we getting a sponsorship? Or are you getting this shit for free? Why are you talking about it so much? You're just so excited about it.
Talking about, yeah, like,
I'm going to cut this shit out.
But, yeah, so anyways, talking about that kind of stuff, it is our future, and we are going to be controlled by robots.
The children are our future. That's the song.
But I still think it's badass, so fuck you.
Anyways, Travis Walton.
Go ahead, boring.
Yeah, Travis Walton. So I think that's basically like, I know that he woke up to these people and he tried to fight at them because, you know, whatever.
Wouldn't you? Someone's like poking at your eyeball.
Yeah, I probably would be like, hey man, hey, cut it. Son of a bitch.
My biggest question is, because you hear a lot of abduction stories, that they always go for the same bloodline. And my biggest question is like what are they trying to develop? Like, they're obviously trying to make a perfect human for some reason. And what is it in that specific bloodline that they need that they can't get from any other bloodline?
No, but the thing too is that I think that the whole idea that, you know, don't smell this mic.
I apologize.
Do not smell this mic. The whole thing that like aliens are like experimenting on us to recreate or create hybrids or something. I don't know if that's true, because if you're smart enough to build a spaceship to get you all the way to Earth and back to Nabu Nabu, you figure that you'd be able to sequence DNA at that point, right? You'd be able to create your own fucking species. Like, if you're smart enough to get onto warp speed and get over here, like, you know how to sequence DNA. You could probably clone a human.
Well, I think that they
You could take one sample. You think there's a bunch of Travis Waltons out there because they took the DNA and they recreated Travis Walton?
Well,
and every baby's born with that 70s mustache.
As a charming young feller.
Travis, he's still charming. He's selling books and selling a story.
It's so funny if you guys have seen that movie, or if you're going to plan on watching it. Total Paul Rudd vibes.
For the actor, yeah. I mean, yeah.
But so I'm assuming the real guy was
decent. He's right there. I'm showing you pictures of him.
He was decent. I mean,
whatever.
He looks like a lumberjack.
Yeah.
Not really my jam.
Whatever.
I mean, you have a giant beard.
Lumberjack.
Wait. Maybe I do like lumberjacks.
I wear a lot of flannel too. Son of a bitch.
Oh my God.
God damn it.
No, I think this is the thing. I think I took your catchphrase. Mm-hmm. I think maybe on Nabu on their planet, their humanoid, hybrid, whatever the fuck, can function. But I think their biggest problem is that when they're traveling, for whatever reason, when they're in outer space, I think that's when it starts to deteriorate their bodies, and they're trying to figure out a way where it won't do that when they're trying to travel back and forth.
Well, I mean, you might be feeding off of something, but there is, like, scientists do have issues with that, with deteriorating. I think when you're in space for an extended period of time, at a very small rate.
It will happen
at a very, very small rate. But I think there is, like, bone density lost within space. And again, I'm not saying the astronauts are coming back without.
No, astronauts do exercises. I watch all those videos.
Yeah, but I think there is some level of kind of in space you do lose some bone density and stuff like that. So
and it only would make sense.
It only would make sense.
But another like cool thing that blew my mind. I don't know about you guys, but
baby, did I blow your mind? I don't know what that song is. It wasn't good.
So we all know
barely even a song.
The gray aliens are like the most trendy aliens out there. Elongated faces, big eyes, small mouth.
Fucking
that's like
sold
the most
out.
common popular.
Yeah, they're fucking played out.
Mind blown. That alien, the idea of that is a space suit, and that's why, like how Walter explains it is in like there's no seams in the
Travis explains it all,
but he sees them outside of their space suits.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, he sees
that. I had never heard that theory before, which is crazy. Like, hello, I love.
Thanks, Travis.
And I'm like, it would make sense.
Do you know Travis is upset at that film, Fire in the Sky? He's not upset, but he wants to remake it because he thought they got things wrong.
Well, remake
especially
it.
With him.
I'll watch it.
Him being taken.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
So anyway, he had this whole experience up in the ship, and he saw some stuff, and he oogled over the spaceship, and apparently he definitely, I mean, it's a fact that he was gone 5 days. Where he was, it's up for debate, but he was gone 5 days, and while he was gone, presumably up in this spaceship, getting prodded by weird little mini space aliens and stuff like that. His buddies were trying to tell the authorities within Arizona that, hey, our friend we saw this thing, it was a flying saucer, and then they were telling that story, and they had a lot of trouble being believed. They did take lie detectors tests, as we mentioned, and they did. I think 5 out of 6 passed, and then one was inconclusive, which is take it or leave it, because lie detector tests are
but the story behind
they're
that,
flimsy most of the sometimes.
That, though,
what
was the one that didn't pass the lie detector test? He had kind of gotten.
He was an alien.
Maybe he had gotten into a fight with Walter prior.
Walter, who's Walter?
Is that his last name?
Travis Walton.
Whatever the fuck. Maybe. Leave me alone. It's been a week for me. But so I wonder, like, and how they kind of like portrayed him in the movie. Was that I think he was like half like Latino or something too. So like a lot of racism back then, and he was the only Latino in the group. So he had a lot against him, So all the white guys maybe could have gotten away, with telling their story or whatever. But I think he was really scared because he knew, like, already all the racism and stuff that he knew they could have all threw him under the bus, especially because Travis didn't like him to begin with, So, so I think that's why he didn't pass the lie detector test. I think he was really nervous. The police were going to do something fucked up because they're racist.
Yeah. In terms of the lie detector test, so I think they did pass 2 lie detector tests. I think Travis Walton failed a lie detector test sometime in the 90s. He went on a TV show, and again, these lie detector tests can sometimes be iffy both ways. So he went on a TV show, and he's like, I'm going to take a lie detector test. And they're like, well, you failed. Well, he's like, not true.
But something did happen. I mean, because
well, he was definitely gone for 5 days. He definitely, the facts that are undisputed is that at least, so the facts that are undisputed is they were all in this forest area, and they all got off work, and they were all driving, and somehow in between, and this could be something like, let's all make up a story, because they did get paid. I think it doesn't seem like that much, but they did get paid, I think, $5,000 by the National Enquirer for best UFO story. If they're still handing that out, I'll make up something too.
Read the Enquirer.
What?
The Enquirer doesn't exist.
Are you sure? I think it might exist.
Maybe online.
I think it might exist on National. Let's look it up. National Enquirer. Yeah. So, anyways, the things we know is that they were definitely were all working together. They all knew each other. They definitely were heading home, and somewhere in between, Travis disappeared. Whether he was hiding out somewhere to keep up with the story or whatever, he definitely disappeared, and all 6 of them never really broke on there wasn't one of them was like, we were all just kidding. All of them kind of kept with their story, true or not. And we know that, and we do know that Travis definitely was at least not publicly found, and there was searches that went on for 5 days. We know that, and we know that where they found him essentially. So this whole time, his buddies are like, no, we had this experience. He's disappeared. We think it's a UFO. Da 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 da. And it actually got to the point where the law enforcement started really thinking that it was them who murdered him, and the disappearance was related to some kind of suspicious activity towards him. It was
a really small town.
Sure,
and the whole town was against him. Even the driver, he was really really close because his sister. They ended up getting married. His sister was with Travis. They were boyfriend and girlfriend. And even his own wife thought that he killed his friend.
Well, there was a lot of speculation because, I mean, if you think about it I don't know if you could really blame law enforcement too much, because a lot of those guys go off of physical evidence and the sort, and there was no physical evidence there and they did so there's some stuff out there that says they did actually do some physical evidence tests that we'll get into later, but at the site. But at the time, there was it was a bunch of sheriffs, and they had 6 guys saying, no, he got abducted by UFO, but nobody else saw the UFO. So you could see where the law enforcement was like, yeah, you guys murdered him. Where's the body? Because it was very strange. It was very strange. So they really thought it was. So they started suspecting them. They had their search parties that went to no avail. They started harassing some of Travis's relatives and some people close to him to try to get a suss of where he was at. But the 5th day, they actually found Travis at a gas station, disheveled.
He called his friend, the driver.
Yeah,
pick him up.
Yeah. So he all of a sudden reappeared from wherever he was. In 5 days. And that's kind of where they essentially, the law enforcement obviously called off any kind of investigation in terms of murder, because he was clearly there. And that's when his story started coming out, and he started telling his tales of his kidnapping, this sort. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is probably, out of all the abduction stories, this is probably top 3 of believability, only because to the fact that there's like 6 other guys who said they saw something, whether it's all corroborated by them for cash advance or whatever, is one thing. But it's corroborated by 6 other people. There was lie detector tests that were taken. That sort of thing kind of adds some validity to this, because I think a lot of abductions stories can pretty easily be debunked, or it's just it's one person selling a story and there's not much else to go off of. Well, but this at least had other people involved. It had some lie detector. There's still no physical evidence, and one of the things they did after the case is apparently they studied years down the road. They studied the forest area, and apparently within a short amount of time, something was weird with the or at least whether he purportedly got kidnapped.
Like what? Like radiation?
Abducted. There was weird radiation. The forestry was growing at a more rapid rate than what was expected. Whether these studies were legitimate or whether it was a National Enquirer study, whereas one guy who said, "I see more trees," and you stand out there. What is it? Who knows? But there definitely is some stuff floating out there that there's more strange activity within that area than you would kind of expect. So yeah. I don't know.
I feel like also the police, they accused them. They were just like, "Oh, you guys are just trying to get money. Like you're just trying to be."
Oh, that would be my first instinct too. I think that had to be.
So there was a lot of like speculation with that, but I feel like at least like the way that the movie makes you feel, like, I mean, this poor man was like
one of the things
PTSD. Like they found him naked. Like,
well, you would imagine that like if you had that if you actually went through that experience, it would definitely leave a fucking mark for sure. One of the things that some of the kind of the doubters of this specific story will say is that apparently Travis Walton was obsessed with aliens before this. Like he became really infatuated with the idea of aliens, and there was him and his brother would apparently talk about like alien stuff and what would you do if you got abducted and stuff. So this was swimming in his head, whether it's a coinky dink or it's it kind of shows that he became obsessed with aliens and he started making up this kind of scheme and stuff like that in this story. And just to maybe, I think sometimes people make up stuff. Not, a lot of the go-to is like, oh, he's in it for the money or whatever. If you're obsessed with aliens, and you're kind of a charismatic dude like Travis Walton appears to be, and you want to be on a book circuit and stuff like that. Not even the cash flow, but you want to be the person to have that story. I mean,
well, I'm obsessed with aliens, and
why don't you make up an abduction story? I'll corroborate it with you. I'm like, she got.
Because I just think that's so disrespectful to the extraterrestrials. I think it's disrespectful to the humans that have actually been abducted.
The time travelers, the aliens.
It's just not right.
The weirdos.
And you know what's funny? I feel like if I was ever abducted, I feel like you wouldn't believe me. I feel like you would just think I was psycho.
Well, that would be a tough one.
You already do think I'm psycho, but
what? Okay, what would be
next level?
What would be the premise? Like
medicated in the hospital.
In what circumstance? How is this playing out? Are you like last night?
Let's think
I took a little trip.
For instance, let's time travel 4 years past in our backyard.
This is like the Christmas Carol.
I have witnesses, by the way.
Okay, but you weren't abducted. That's just something you thought you saw.
We didn't think we saw it.
Okay.
Me and 2 other people saw the exact same thing in the sky. Mm-hmm. We saw a perfect circle ring that was red, pulsing. I believe it was a wormhole. It could have been maybe a UFO.
Devil's butthole, who knows?
Possibly, but no, I think it was like some kind of wormhole, and it just kind of pulsed for like 20 seconds.
Do you think you have to go through...
almost like it disappeared, and that's why I felt like it was... some kind of wormhole. But
it'd be fun if you were the Satan.
Backyard.
If I were Satan, please, I'm not Satan, guys. No. So some of you might. Sometimes. If I were Satan, I would totally make all the people who went to hell go through my butthole as the entrance. It's a big old starfish entrance. No?
Be stinking.
Hell always goes through the butthole.
But I'm just saying, like, let's say I was out there by myself, I don't know, putting something in the shed, and I saw it again, and something came through. Like, I feel like if I told you, oh, I had a feeling or something, an abduction, and they say
so
that
okay, in this scenario, in this wild hair scenario, are you, so you actually, you get abducted. You're not like I saw and they waved or whatever. You actually get into that spaceship.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I feel like you wouldn't believe me.
Well, you got to give some context. So, okay, let's say in a world where, is it overnight? Did you get abducted overnight?
Who knows? I mean, sometimes they say like minutes, could be days.
Give me, come on, paint the scene. Come on, you're on a podcast. Paint the scene. Okay. Do you get abducted at night? Is this a nighttime abduction or a daytime? So it's nighttime. So I'm asleep. Unbeknownst to me, you got abducted, right?
And yeah, I'm organizing something, putting stuff away in Clementine's shed, and I go out back.
Am I awake or am I out? Am I awake or asleep at this point?
Playing fucking video games.
Goddamn, fucking you and your PS5. I got a PS5, everybody. And I did not pay a scalper for it, and I'm not going to scalp it myself.
And he lied to me and said it was an air purifier.
I did not. That was a story on the internet. Some dude in fucking Taiwan or something said he tried to convince his wife because he didn't want to get busted.
Because they look weird. So
they look fucked up, and they were massive. PS5s are fucking massive. Like, why the fuck? Like, no. It kind of almost pisses me off.
Anyways, so I get abducted.
Okay, so I'm awake at this point, and you just disappear.
And
do I just think you went to the store or some shit?
He's got his little earbuds in, and he's over there.
I'm playing Spider-Man, and you get abducted, and I don't even notice. How long do you think it would take me to notice for you before?
It's always loud. We always have the AC on or the heater. So,
but how long do you think I would be like, okay, something's up before like I noticed you were gone?
I think 15 minutes.
Okay, so in 15 minutes I know you're gone. So you're already 15. You only get 15 minutes of grace period before I notice. Hey, like either she's fucking the mailman or she's got abducted. Those are the only two scenarios. How long are you in the spaceship?
Because my abduction would be something beautiful and magical. And it would be like meeting these other beings that want to bring peace to our earth and learn about us. And so they take me to their realm.
And they cut you into pieces.
No, and we talk telepathically.
Mm-hmm. That sounds very nice.
And
have a nice picnic.
They teach me things, and I teach them things about humanity.
What are you going to teach an alien?
Well, about our culture.
Okay, what are you going to teach him about our culture? Fuck it.
How stupid we are.
Teach him about 2020, how dumb we became. Yeah, no, I don't know. So first of all, if I was awake, I would notice that you were gone. I would be like, oh, she got abducted.
I'd be like, babes, I'm going to go put something in the shed. No, because, I disappear. I, go in the bathroom.
But I wouldn't go to sleep until I...
No, of course, you're on your video games, and then it would be 15 to 30 minutes later, you would be going, and,
You'd be 40.
Are people texting or calling? Sorry.
I don't know. People are...
The phone's vibrating. Everybody's sorry.
Who's texting you this later? Is it an alien? Or the postman?
Maybe he wants to...
Uh-huh.
You're still not in the shot.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Nobody wants that. Okay, yeah. I think I would know. I would not go. And then I would be like, if you were gone for 2 hours, I'd be like, hey, where'd you go?
Yeah, I know you would be trying to call me, and you probably end up calling the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that'd be weird.
But they ain't gonna find me.
Just if I went out to the shed, and you were you were up, and then I was gone for 3 hours, you'd be like, that's strange. Although I do have a tendency to disappear places.
Yeah, but I would definitely call.
Would you call MUFON or the police first?
Both. The police first.
And then MUFON.
I would want to make sure that.
Would you call? Okay, hold on. I need to know this. If I disappeared for a spell, how long would it take before you called MUFON to find out if I was abducted by aliens?
24 hours.
Really?
Well, because, if you're gone for at least, because it would be one thing if you're gone for a couple hours, whatever situation were to happen. But 24 hours, nothing. No, we can't get a hold of you. We have no idea, how you disappeared. And you disappeared in a thin air. Then, I would want to explore all options.
Where do you think I would land where do you think I would end up, being found 5 days later if I got abducted? In front of a wiener schnitzel?
Area 51.
You think I'd be in Area 51? Butt ass naked, run around in the desert?
Area 52, Area 53, Area 54.
The real spot is Area 52, right? Am I right? All right. Area 51 is a decoy, brother. It's just a fucking decoy.
I don't know.
Oh, God. I'm obsessed with you being obsessed with being abducted.
I don't want to be abducted unless, like I said,
you want to be abducted.
Unless it's a situation like that. No, because a lot of abductions.
It's all miserable. Nobody wants to.
Scary. You are changed forever, literally, physically, because who knows what they're taking out of your body. And just for me, I guess, just knowing that the possibility that they could have taken my eggs for fertility. And making a hybrid up there, and knowing
that'd be a fun.
Knowing that I have a hybrid child somewhere. It's kind of cool. But it's twisted.
Think about the fucking twisted. Sitcom on that. That's
I don't know if I can do that.
That'd be a fun family sitcom. So you get abducted, right? Okay. Hey, ABC, NBC, Fox, if you're listening, please don't take this. So you get abducted, right?
Right.
And you don't know what happens, and you somehow you just get back, and all of a sudden an alien knocks on your door like a hybrid, and he's like, "I'm your son," and you have to raise your son and put him in baseball cap so people don't know he's an alien. Family sitcom. Here we come.
Oh my goodness.
Call me up, NBC. What do you think? I should shop it around?
No.
Disney Plus.
No. But that would be wild, because there is an abduction story where that's something like that does happen, except the alien's not fucking knocking on the door. This one guy that gets abducted, and he said it was like a traumatizing experience, but
you got his eggs put in him?
No, and a hybrid had sex with him.
Okay.
And then when he gets abducted a few years later, he meets his child, and and the hybrid's a couple years old.
No.
And it's one of those things where it's it's all telepathic. So it's he sees this child, and he's kind of like, oh, it's a hybrid kid, but then realizes that it has similar features as him, and he's like, oh fuck.
He's got a giant forehead, but he has my eyes. That is insane.
Just think about the endless possibilities. Look at what we're doing to planet Earth, our Mother Earth, and
I heard the
think
children
about
are
the
our future.
fires, and we're just living in devastation. Think about maybe the aliens are just really, like I was saying earlier, just
okay. I got a question.
We're human beings, and they were like, fuck this. They could see the future happening and the unveiling of everything that's going on now, and maybe they wanted to get out, and maybe they come back, so we gotta save our people.
Do you think that, out of two scenarios, which do you think is more likely to happen first? That Earth implodes and somehow we destroy ourselves, through all the massive shit we're doing, or aliens come full-fledged, they're not it's more of a Mars attack situation than them coming and making crop dusting or crop circles? Which do you think happens first?
Well, do you want my Disney version of what I wish would happen?
No, I don't want a Disney version. Fuck that. We all know Disney version would be like...
I want to tell my Disney version.
Okay, tell your Disney.
My thing would be
they
that
save us.
If these beings are so intelligent, as we know that they are, they could watch us. They're watching us all the time. I hope they would save the good humans.
Only an outsider.
Not saying that. I
have the movie poster.
I know it's a fucked up thing to say, because there's no judgment. Nobody deserves to die. Nobody deserves to go to hell. Nobody deserves bad things to happen, no matter how they are as a person, even though people could be shitty. I think you always should have hope that they would change.
You're just talking about like a plot of Avengers where Thanos was a little more picky.
Yes.
That's basically what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, that's essentially what you're talking about. I have the movie poster for it, though. I'll tell you that much. Title, whatever the fuck that is for the Disney movie. Only an outsider can save us from ourselves.
Wow.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, that's what I
don't want to hear your hopes and dreams.
I don't know. I would think if extraterrestrials were watching us and a lot of them are, from what I've heard, they're
what have you heard in the grapevine?
They're gender neutral. They don't really have a gender. They don't really need a gender.
Why would they need one?
They don't need to speak to each other. They don't, like I said, they don't need.
Why would they need to speak to each other?
They just telepathically can communicate when they need to. But I feel like they don't have like, from my knowledge, it seems like the Greys don't have empathy. And so for them, it would be like they would come to this beautiful planet and be like, what the fuck are these humanoids doing? Let's just fucking kill them off because they're killing this beautiful planet that we could use prosperously.
Can I try to blow your mind?
I hope so.
Let's try it.
You did once or twice.
What if the Greys that we think of Greys are just robots in humanoid form in gray spacesuits?
I've thought of that too.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I've even thought that we're robots.
Wait, you think we're robots?
I mean, I think that's a possibility.
Whoever built this robot, I'm pointing myself, everybody.
I want to know if anybody's listening has ever...
Okay.
No, let me finish. This is you know,
she's just going to keep paving their way through.
You know when you
this
turn
is what she does. She
your
just keeps
computer off.
I'm not going to listen to him.
And when it's
he's not. I'm going to get my thoughts through.
It's doing this like hazing in and hazing out and hazing in and hazing out. Like I think about when we're sleeping, it's kind of like we're shutting down. We're turning off our hard drive. Like we're gaining and food instead of like being plugged into an outlet. Like food and water that's our energy. That's our battery.
Well, life biology, like even before the inception of robots, has always run off energy and rest. Like the whole idea of sleep is just to reset the batteries. That's it. I mean, it's a lot. That's the thing is with especially early robots. Who knows what's going to happen with artificial intelligence and stuff, but it mimics biology. Like all these techniques mimic biology in because they have to.
Well, see, and that's what scares me.
Is that what scares you?
Because it's like if there's a possibility like that we could be robots, it reminds me of what's that that Japanese movie?
I don't know.
The Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. But the thing is, whoever built this robot, and I'm pointing at myself, needs to be fucking fired because this is not a piece of fucking machinery. This is like this ain't a Tesla or Maserati. This is like a fucking Ford Buick. Like it's
that is not.
It runs. It'll get you where you're going, but it's got some flaws for sure. So I don't believe that we're all robots, especially because if you look at I don't know if I'm speaking in jest about me, but
because I think about like stupid stuff, like even like
do you think
like some people like have twitches, and I think of like it being like a glitch in their system. I don't know. I'm weird. This is the stuff that goes.
But I just don't. I
keep to myself.
I like it
until now.
I like the idea of it, but I just don't think functionally. I don't think it's real because we don't really function like robots. Robots are going to be much more efficient than we are.
But we mimic each other, and robots, like algorithms, like they know how to like mimic.
But it's all mimicking. It's all based because it's created by humans, so it's reacting and recreating humanism so far, at least.
You're just so proud of being human.
I don't know if I'm proud of being human. I actually don't. I don't think I'm proud of being human. I think,
I don't know. I'm just open to, I don't know, different things.
Okay. Unlike you. That was the subtext of that. You dick. Yeah, dick.
Dickhead.
You know what's crazy? You mentioned that that you think that aliens talk telepathically. So apparently when Travis was up in the spaceship, the aliens that he encountered did not say anything. They were completely silent throughout the whole thing. So he woke up, and I think they were like prodding him and kind of poking him and stuff like that. And he started trying to fight them. And throughout this whole thing, they didn't say shit to each other. They didn't say anything. According to him, they just
were working.
They were just working, and then they actually ran out because they got. And that's the thing that's a little bit fishy about Travis's story is that like these sophisticated aliens, like all of a sudden this guy from Arizona like starts like fighting back, and they're like, oh no, and they start running out of the building. I'm just like, oh, you guys can tase him or something, phase him.
Well, didn't they put like weird stuff in his mouth that kind of made him?
I think that was for dramatic purposes.
No, I don't know.
I do like. We for context, we did watch that movie Fire in the Sky, and I pretty much fell asleep during it.
It was a great movie.
And then
like I said, I just wish
it was fine. That's why I fell asleep, because it was just fine.
I want to just.
But I woke up
so much more about the spacecraft and
I don't think he has a ton of details. I don't
thought. I mean, I know you said he's unhappy with the movie, but I thought.
I don't want to paint a picture of he was unhappy. I think
it was very detailed, like an aircraft being like a living organism blew my mind. And when he woke
That's
up,
gross.
When he woke up where he was stored, it was like the whole thing was alive.
It was a cool sequence. Like I remember I've crashed out just because of like there's too much
90s too, like
dialogue or whatever.
It was pretty good graphics.
And then I woke up, and all of a sudden like he was in some cocoon. I was like, okay, this is the good part of the movie.
Yes.
The last 5 minutes of the fucking good part of the movie.
Yeah. And then it's like, and then there's other people, and it's almost like they were in these little cocoon.
Yeah, I think that was artistic license on that bad boy.
And it was almost like that the organism was like living off of them.
You're really selling this movie. I don't know if you should. It's an okay movie.
I thought it was.
Let's see. Fire in the Sky. Let's see what the rating is.
I don't care.
Let's see. I want to see what Siskel and Ebert gave it at the time.
I'm always like, if something's popular, I go the other direction.
Oh, isn't that cool? That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
42% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think 42% of that is people liking the last 5 minutes of that movie. Yeah, that was cool. And the little like whatever baby aliens that they had.
I don't remember that part.
But they didn't look like babies. They were adults, but they were like all pruny and stuff like that.
They look like
or like really old men.
Yeah.
Like super old men.
Yeah. They just look super wrinkly. Like, and that was one distinct detail that I thought was really amazing that Travis had seen. He saw the spaceships, the space suits, and he touched it, and he was like, because at first I think he thought somebody was inside it, but the way that it was like laying and just like standing there, like he was like, oh my god, these are their suits. And then behind him, come the little,
it's all in the suits,
the gremlin humans, you know.
Gremlin humans.
But they do, like, to me, I'm like, oh my god, they look like
Gremlins is a Christmas
movie. They look
movie.
like shriveled up white people.
I'm getting closer to that than I'd like to admit. All right.
Just your balls.
Just me balls. Me balls have always looked like a space alien. Me nuggets have always looked like a space alien.
All right. I think we are out.
Hey, you have an announcement. What do you have? I usually ask like, hey, what's coming up? What do you got going on? You have a brand new hair extension line, no?
I do. To everybody out there, www.carouselhairextensions.com
for all your ponytail needs.
Yeah, so I am the inventor of magnetic technology for ponies, like what I'm wearing right now. there's not a ponytail out there like this. It's taken me a long time to form it. I failed a lot of times, and now I'm doing well. I'm selling them. They're successful. My customers love them. Very easy to use. Jonathan, I know that you could totally rock the fuck out of one. But yeah, like that's what I've been up to. I'm exhausted. Running a salon, running a child's school, being married to that guy.
It's fucking terrible.
It's rough.
He's really gone down the hill. His looks have gone. His memory's bad.
But yeah, so that's what's going on.
That's the shit. Well, so they could find you at carouselhairextensions.com. They could follow you for all the latest vids and products at Carousel. They can find you on.
It's on Instagram. It's _ Carousel Hair Extensions _
Yes, look it up. I think if you Google, it'll probably show up. You could, Darling Dolly is your personnel. You can find us. You can find us as a whole, as a team, as a collab at Extranormal Podcast on Instagram, Extranormal P on Twitter. You could email us if you have any made up stories about abductions or anything. If you feel like making up a story, Brianna's gonna make up.
Don't make up stories.
I told you I'll corroborate with you. I'll say that you got beamed up. It'll be fun. No. You'll get a book. You can call it the Kaye experience.
Because you know what's fucked up with that shit? It's like the boy who cried wolf.
Oh yeah, there we go. There we go.
Really fucking do get abducted.
You're gonna get a knock on the door from aliens.
Yeah, like
hey, no, you making up stories about us, motherfucker?
Yeah, they're gonna really take you. No one's gonna even fucking care. Because you're a liar.
You're gonna end up like cattle mutilation. You're gonna end up like, don't they mutilate cattle for
They
like
whatever? Take weird parts out of cows, like mouths, like different.
Make cheeseburgers, make alien burgers out of them.
Part of the hybrid shit.
Okay. One part cow, one part human, one part alien.
As long as they don't milk me, I'll be okay.
All right. Well, if you have any stories or if you have any questions or comments, you just want to yell at me, I like that. extranormalpodcast@gmail.com. Please, if you're listening on all your favorite podcast machines, make sure you subscribe, follow, all that stuff. I think Spotify is followed. Give us a positive review. If it's a bad review, write it down on a piece of paper, crumple it up, and throw it in the trash, because I can't take that. I have low self-esteem already, so please don't do that. Well, thanks for listening.
Low self-esteem and bad posture.
Bad breath.
Good night.